UnregularRadio.com.
Up next, Two Hotheads, where activism happens.
Boston Uncensored Radio.
And we're back live, Two Hotheads, where activism happens on Unregular Radio. And we're here with some of our favorite rabble-rousers. It's getting feisty up in here, and I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Talking about music and politics and activism, it's just...
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. And these kids next to me right here, our friends Garrett Kirkland and Frank Capone, are rousing some pretty decent rabble right here, rousing some pretty important rabble. What are you guys rabble rousing about right now? Tell us all about the TSA out of the MBTA and all that.
Well, I think you should start, Garrett, since it was your happenstance that led to all of this.
All right. We are rabble-rousing about your basic Fourth Amendment protection. Your right to not be...
What's that amendment again? I've forgotten.
I think we've all forgotten the Fourth Amendment.
He's getting a pat down right now.
As I'm getting frisked over here by the media. I don't know where it's going. The Fourth Amendment is basically your right to be secure in your person, house, papers, and effects. That's persons, that's your person, your house, your property, your papers, that's your identity, okay?
I'm surprised you don't have this
and
tattooed
your effects.
on you.
Your papers are also your communications and stuff. All this is protected against unreasonable search. Like, if you've done nothing wrong, why are you being searched? Why are you being scrutinized? And then, the response to that is like, well, if you have nothing to hide,
you're not doing anything
what's
wrong.
the problem?
It's
like
nothing to be afraid of.
You can't just give this authority over to any, central anything. You have to be secure in your person.
Don't we call these checkpoints? And checkpoints in other countries, in other worlds, in other places that we've seen it over and over again. Checkpoints are places where people get roughed up, where they get where they get shot. I mean, these are actions in countries that are at war. Am I wrong?
You don't
or right?
have anything to hide, right, Mike Can? They're keeping you safe. Well, right? Aren't they keeping us safe?
Well, no. Isn't that why we have this amendment? Because, other countries, it's not... who wants to live in a country like that? Like that where you constantly have to worry that you have your papers, get in line. I'm trying to get to work.
Right. I mean, you're supposed to have the right to travel freely without, again, if you've done nothing wrong, you have every right to not be harassed. And that's what these come down to. And you're right. It's like these are other countries that either have some kind of fascist dictatorship or they're under a military occupation
it's like shit
or
that goes
whatever.
On in Iraq and Afghanistan.
These are the countries you see checkpoints where you have to show your papers and there's the threat of military or police force behind it. At this point right now, you can walk away.
Isn't that what the
Unless
Russians
you're at the
do?
airport. If you're at the airport, apparently you can't just walk away. But if you hit them in the subways, you can walk away and you just are going to be late to work, lose your job, whatever, or you can
They're
be
just
searched.
Looking for terrorists, Garrett. I don't understand.
Let them look for terrorists where they can actually get into the subways. All right, we're gonna put up checkpoints in these couple areas. The MBTA system is extremely porous. There is no way in hell you can even think you're going to lock that down to keep bombs out.
Oh, yeah, I know. They're just doing them randomly, once in a while at one place for a couple hours.
Hop on the street on the green line.
I know.
Between the
trusses, between the buses, the subways, the trains, the boats they even have. I mean, come on.
It's ludicrous.
We have a phone call. Let's take the phone call. Hi, who's calling? Hello, welcome to the show. You're live on the air.
Oh, hi, it's Tamara Lee.
How you
hey,
doing?
How's it going?
Hello.
Hey, it's going all right. I'm actually outside waiting for a train on the commuter rail, but I'm happy to report there is no TSA checkpoint here, so that's good. How's it going for you guys?
That's
Sorry, I
fantastic.
haven't been listening. Don't know what I'm interrupting.
About a year ago, they were trying to take away those commuter rails
Altogether.
entirely.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we have to be grateful that we have a train, right?
Thank you, MBTA.
Yeah, thanks,
Right?
MBTA. And now, we get to thank them about all these random bag searches and nonsense. So tell us more about this, because you're really involved in the day of action on February 2nd.
What I want to know is, everybody has their opinion about where the line should be drawn to keep us safe. And I feel like, well, are we the kind of society who wants to go the extra mile to make sure that none of us is a psychoterrorist, and what does that mean? Does that mean, full body cavity searches and strip searches for all ages on the streets of every town and city? Is that what that means? And would we still ever achieve this, like, situation of safety where some psycho was not going to be able to get around it and, like, commit some lunatic act somewhere, sometime? And I just feel like I'm less afraid of being in the wrong place at the wrong time and being the victim of some psycho someday than I am of living in a world where, you know, little kids are getting groped by the TSA in order to protect me from that. It's more important to me to protect the kids from that than it is for me to protect myself from some psycho. You know what I mean? There's only, like, where's the limit to which we will go? And I feel like that limit is pretty clearly defined in the Fourth Amendment. And the reason I like the Fourth Amendment isn't that it's the rule, it's that I think it's the right rule, that they should have to have a reason to suspect someone of a crime before they can just search them, you know?
Absolutely.
And I think that's a pretty good rule. So that's where this came from. Garrett was getting on the train, and there was TSA, you know, searching people in Davis Square. And I said, what is this world coming to? You know?
Yeah,
so,
seriously. Especially Davis,
and
where
it's
all the
like
other
you don't
stuff.
just have a choice, you know, to really. I mean, you said you have a choice to walk away. Do you really? If that's your only way to get to work, do you actually have a choice? I mean, I think it's unbelievable. And who is there to make sure, you know, check the statistics of how many people of color are being taken aside, and what, you know, what are the racial profiling statistics on all of these random searches? Because when they you know, research stop and frisk in New York City and all that stuff, it was shown to be completely racist. What a surprise!
Yep.
We're all
like
really
who's monitoring
surprised.
monitors here, and then what level of bureaucracy do we have to get to, and would it ever be enough? No, because at every level of the system, there's going to be, you know, privilege and oppression at work, and so the idea that if we have people monitoring the TSA to make sure they're not racist, well, then that will work. You know, that's not going to work either.
Exactly. You know, absolutely.
Yeah, and again, like, what do we know, actually? Do we know anything about marijuana? Like, what do they do when someone has some weed on them? Like, you're facing federal police. What do? They take your weed, they give you a fine? I don't know. What are they doing? Are they harassing people?
I have no idea.
Are they trying to turn them into snitches?
My experience with the TSA is really limited. I have not been flying very much for a while, and I flew once last summer, and I had the option of the pat down or the scanner, and I had read some things about the scanners that caused me concern, and so I opted for the pat down. And the woman who did it was very professional, and I didn't feel at all violated. And I felt kind of relieved about that. And then I thought, how wrong it is that I should have to feel relieved that I wasn't just molested. You know?
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of position is that to be in? You know, knowing that other people were being molested, possibly at that very moment, and I was lucky that I wasn't, you
And
know?
those scanners are scary. I actually went through
They're
the
being
scanner.
pulled.
I went through
Yeah,
the
they are.
scanner. Well, some of them.
No, they're phasing them out.
No, not all of them.
Why? Wait.
Not all of them. They basically had a contract out. It's a deceptive headline. Read the whole story. Some of the scanners are staying, and they're still basically they're the ones that don't show your private parts.
Well, that's
They're
nice.
keeping the good ones.
That's a nice upgrade.
But you still get the radiation.
Yeah, you still see the boob.
You still get the radiation.
I mean, because I was going to apply for a job
I
at
know,
the
I'm being
TSA.
facetious. I mean,
No boobs.
Yeah, I
They-
mean, it's
they're
a
removing
step
the
up if
boobs.
they're not
Customer
showing you
still gets a little
naked, but, you know.
It's like all of this stuff. Like I went for a job interview in D.C. one day, and they flew me down there. As soon as I got scanned by those scanners, I had an intense migraine headache,
Oh.
and I lost the interview. I had a perfect interview except for the last question.
The headache
Because
was it because you hadn't smoked weed in 4 hours?
Maybe. I mean, it's just my head. It's like one of the worst migraines. Like I couldn't even walk. Like I should have just gone home. I should have said I'm sick. But I aced the interview anyways until the last question. Because I wanted to get out of there. Like I was basically, she's asking me like what would you be doing if you would, like she wanted the plan, and I was just like, I got to get the fuck out of here. I'm gonna throw up. And it's like I blame it on the radiation. It's the radiation.
Well, and
I mean, I've heard that they're carcinogenic. I can't produce some link to back that up standing here on the train platform, but I had heard that there was some evidence that these scanners were potentially causing carcinogenic amounts of radiation.
They have
or
so
something.
much radiation they send out. They're way more. Like when you really look into it, look into these. I've heard from whistleblowers, people we know that work at Logan who are high up off the record at the TSA who have.
No, I believe it.
I tried bringing.
They're
But they're
afraid.
keeping us safe.
I tried bringing a hot pocket, but they wouldn't let me through because it was in a plastic bag of more than 3 ounces.
There you go.
Did you ask him if you could cook the hot pocket with a little microwave tray in the scanner?
Seriously.
And then what about those like biological agents that they're like, spraying off in the subway,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
don't even really tell
Yeah.
you, and it's like, whatever. We just trust the government to
Right.
like not.
I mean, I was looking
know?
at something, and in Cincinnati, back in I think it was the 50s, the federal government did these experiments where they just like sprayed like some sort of gas over the city. And like didn't tell anybody, and like it was actually found to be like carcinogenic.
A
and
huge
everything.
history of doing
Like,
that over and
it's
over
crazy.
again.
Yeah. What
Crazy.
about like?
Yeah.
I mean, even
about
acid, the way that they
DDT
did
and,
acid and stuff.
They'll wait 50 years before you hear anything about it, though.
I know.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I think
Well, we
really-
had, like, 12
And then it's like, well, this is a different day and age. We don't do stuff like that anymore.
Right. Well,
This
the
stuff,
thing, there's been several
That happened,
incidents
man.
that have been proven over the past several decades where they have performed experiments on people without their consent. And this is
Oh, yeah.
clearly a case of that. Like, who knows if there's some, sinister thing going on behind the scenes, but even if it's perfectly harmless,
Still,
the fact is, you shouldn't
fact
be,
is we shouldn't be
when you
grateful that
participate in an
it's perfectly
experiment, usually you get paid and
No,
you
we're
have
not
to
guinea
sign a
pigs,
consent
right?
form, and
Yeah, we shouldn't have to feel, like we have to be grateful that we're not getting poisoned. Like it's a pretty basic, right? Public transportation in general. And I have to say, though, the other news this week about public transportation was pretty good. From Deval Patrick about...
Is that about the fare hikes, or?
Well,
About all the tax increases?
Taxes on...
They're talking fare hikes. I'm like, where's this money for all these useless scanners going? All these...
Well, that's the thing. I agree with that, but at least they're expanding like services and
Well, he's talking
building-
about it. I don't think it's going to happen.
You don't think so? Well, they already are. They're already doing it on the Orange Line
They
and
are?
the Green Line extension.
opening
yeah.
late
They're doing
till
a
2?
they're doing a no.
They've been working on the Orange Line.
The
adding
Orange
another
Line's.
station
That's why I was
between,
late today. Thank
Wellington
you,
and Malden.
MBTA, once again. But I mean, even with all of that considered, I mean, it's just first and foremost, it's a violation of the Fourth Amendment. There's no question
Yeah.
about it.
people have been saying, I think you shouldn't focus on the Fourth Amendment. I think you should focus on the exorbitant waste of tax money, et cetera. And I understand that that's a more pragmatic approach, perhaps, but I feel like it's the principle of the thing that is the important thing to point out. Because, the Fourth Amendment, this is supposed to apply to the federal government.
Yeah.
That is the entity to which the document applies, and that is their rule.
And it's
not my rule that they're violating; it's their own rule.
It's our rule.
Some
It's
courts want to
everybody's
say,
rule.
"Oh, this is constitutional," and it's pretty plain language.
It's a human
I think
rule.
you can twist justice. They used to say slavery was constitutional.
It's a human
too, you know
rule.
what I mean?
You should not be searched. You should never be harassed by anybody, whether it's the government or a private citizen
you
walking
like
down
it.
the street.
That's the
fucking
important.
Maybe I
rule.
want to get patted down by a nice,
Well, that's consensual.
That's the really important thing
I had a really
to take
good pat
away.
down. One of my friends who works at the Middle East gave me a really good pat down the other day. I gotta say that. Just saying it.
The important thing to
It's
take
a-
away, you talk about this is a constitutional rule and stuff, and I'm all for the Fourth Amendment. I give out constitutions. I've been doing it forever. I preach all the time. The Constitution isn't what grants you the right. These are human rights that are affirmed by the Constitution.
Right.
And it's clearly crossing a line. We need lines between what government can do and human beings can do. We all need rules. We do. And it's not about someone else enforcing a rule. It's you enforcing a rule in yourself, and the government needs to take responsibility. It's a clear line that should not be crossed. And the press needs to do their role and support something like this. There's private citizens. No one's leading this. You know what I mean?
sound
But
effect.
it's professional. I'm looking at your flyer. The support on Facebook is enormous. This is a
fantastic.
great rally. Defend the 4th,
And I
day
will
of
be
action,
there.
February 2nd, Saturday, February 2nd, noon to 3 p.m. in Boston. I want to thank you for calling in, Time Relay. She's still there?
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Thank-
sorry. I had to mute it because there was a fire engine going by. But yes, I heard all of that. And thank you so much for
We thought that was
bringing
us.
this up and bringing so much attention to it. I really, that's fantastic. And thanks, Garrett. Garrett's been awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's hear
let's
for
have for
Garrett.
Garrett.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
for
you.
calling
All
in.
right. Take care. Bye-bye.
That was funny that she had a fire because usually it's us. I just I'm so fried and into the conversation. We hear it in the headphones, and I'm thinking it's outside of here, right behind us, which it's a different sound, but that's how.
At least it was a fire truck.
Yeah,
hopefully actually trying to protect.
She's probably next door.
Some purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
When you hear fire engines in unregular radio, it's you're in the city.
It's just like in rap songs where they have the the sirens that make what did Cat Williams say? Like, stop with all the sirens in the rap songs. Sincerely, one paranoid stoner.
I would recommend the song. It's by Homeboy Sandman. He did a song called. It basically was like for a competition for one of those like corporate sponsored competitions, and they gave you the beat if you made it to a certain level. So the beat they send him had a gun noise in it, right?
Oh boy.
It was like a gun like cocking back and shooting, and he did this hilarious song about that, like this crazy meta-ish, and he didn't win the competition. He's done this so many times live, and it kills every time. Okay, you'd have the gangsters with AK-47s in their car. They're cracking up at this one. This is like
awesome.
It's a crowd pleaser, but
that's awesome.
Do we have that?
I gotta find it. I'll find the name.
We got like 8 million requests.
We
what
do.
Rob, you got a lot to work with.
And we're gonna keep talking about the day of action. This is serious. I mean,
but we're gonna come back. Why don't we come back with everybody?
All right, cool. And I actually pulled up a clip of a speech that I made at the UMass student strike about the Fourth Amendment and keeping the cops out of the dorms, because that was our big Fourth Amendment argument that we started, at UMass
and
a
you
while
guys
ago.
won that too.
And we won a little. Yeah, we did. We got rid of that fucking vice chancellor who was instituting those patrols for our own safety, of course. So I don't know. I'll play that after some music.
We were all watching that. I was watching that. That's how I met Heather.
It's a blast from the past.
That's how I met
Yeah,
Heather
that
Mack.
is how we met.
I called up at UMass and said I want some info, and Heather Mack was the one to give it.
Sandman is Gun Control. That song.
All right, so we're gonna play some music and come back with Chris Ferrone, as you've heard on the mic, is in the building. Always a good time with him, and hopefully our other friends will stick around, and you will too.
UnregularRadio.com.
We're back live, Two Hotheads, where activism happens. Full studio. Got a lot of listeners, callers. I fucked up something, didn't I, Frank Capone?
Oh, yeah, no, you did.
Frank, what did I fuck up? Did I fuck up a name again?
You fucked up Tamar Lee's name.
How many times?
You said Tamar Lee.
Like a hot tamale?
Yeah.
There was a Tamerlane.
But it was different every time, so it showed that you were trying to pronounce it correctly.
This is like a constant battle on the show. I feel like we find some way to mispronounce everybody's name.
I'm trying, though. That's the thing. You can tell I'm trying. And I'm aware of it, and we have a laugh about it.
So
hey,
we're
it's
sorry.
better than Two Hotheads with 3 P's or whatever.
Oh, we're activism happens.
Yeah. We fucked up our Facebook group. It was up there for like 3 months, and no one said anything to me.
Oh, it's more than 3 months.
I've been punked a few times on this show by my producer over here.
2 hotheads, 1 cup.
Your 2 hotheads.
And Heather Mack.
Your 2 hotheads business cards.
Oh, yeah.
What? Were they fucked up
Where
too?
are they? Yeah, there's like 5 spelling errors.
Oh, no.
That's like more spelling errors than per square inch that exists.
Rob Coleman Jr. I don't believe that one.
Oh, man.
Can I tell you that?
I don't know if. Hold on.
Mike and I actually met over some we got in a little beef because I was all like, you stoners embarrass yourselves. And
they did though.
And then he somehow found a picture of me hanging out with weird-looking people.
Oh, that was mean. Yeah.
That was all good, but
I was mean.
But this is what I mean, dude. This is like
I got pissed.
The business card. Dude, I'm gonna go lobbying with a business card with misspellings on it.
I want to see.
We don't even have business cards. When Barney Frank asked us for our business card, and we had to be like,
He's
sorry.
I couldn't find any.
Yeah, we actually have those coming out soon.
I'll find some later.
But you did spell the word business as business.
No, he's lying.
I had nothing to do with this. I had nothing to do with any of this.
Misplaced in several places.
You have to realize he's lying on this one. Yes, he is.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna bring out the business
you know what?
card.
I have the little sticker right here, and I just spell checked it, and it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. He's bullshit.
Exactly.
The point of spell check is have someone else do it, though. You know that?
I know it's true.
That's the thing. That's why I know he's bullshit. Someone else did do it.
Yeah, this one's fine.
Perfect.
Do you have the card though?
I don't.
I'll get it. Well,
That's our problem.
But we have to get back to our show.
All right, yeah, back on
Off track on
Stop
me.
making fun of us, guys.
Yeah.
You heard?
The kids are having too much fun today.
Did you almost say pot? Yes, you did. Now you did effectively. All right, but we speaking of which, we have to get back on track because we didn't even go over all of the details of the event. Saturday, February 2nd, defend the 4th Amendment, Day of Action, February 2nd. You should be there. We're going to be there. Tell us, it starts at noon, goes to 3 p.m. probably later, and tell us about exactly how it's going to go down on that day.
All right, so it's the action is actually TSA out of MBTA. That's the push on this. That's what we're all coming together for. So we're gonna have 5 simultaneous demonstrations, marching from various points on the subway system over the surface. So the 5 starting locations are gonna be we're gonna have Harvard Square, over at the pit. There's gonna be one starting at South Station, right on Dewey Square. One coming out of Leechmere. Mike Ken, you got me all mixed up with saying words.
Now you're going to blame it all on Mike?
So Leechmere is going to be coming First Street, right across from Otis Street. And then we have, one coming out of Kenmore at Com Ave, the Medium Park, right across from India Quality. And we have the final one coming out of Ruggles from the Centennial Common. So all at noon, all these different various points are all going to march towards Boston Common. And they're going to converge there around 2 o'clock. And we're going to have a rally there, to push this and get... awareness that, these random searches, these random bag checks, these, TSA officers are in our subways, and they're harassing people just going to work. I mean, they're ineffective. They're not, accomplishing anything except for violating your rights and giving you this idea, this conditioning that, hey, we have to keep accepting more and more infringements on our 4th Amendment rights, to be safe.
Right.
And that's the big issue. So from noon to 3, we're going to put on a show in Boston.
Hell yeah.
And you can look all this up. You can, you don't have to memorize it. Look it up, facebook.com, events. It's on there. You have a Facebook page for this.
TSA out of the MBTA. We'll post it again on our, it has been posted on our Facebook group.
You can find
now
it.
spelled correctly with 2 P's. Only 2.
Yeah.
2 P's in a pod.
We've got a lot of flyers that are going to be going up all over the city.
I've been seeing them actually.
Huge, heartfelt.
They took over the Phoenix booth. Sorry, Chris.
A huge, heartfelt thank you to the King of Pot, KOPProductions.com.
Yeah.
He just got his medical marijuana card.
He donated.
He got his recommendation.
I had a dream I got
yesterday.
mine the other day. I've had multiple dreams. Actually, I had a dream that I went to a doctor and said I had ADHD, and I was like, "Oh, they said I had ADHD, and I was like, "Oh, you're gonna give me Adderall?" They're like, "No, I think you need a prescription for marijuana." That was a real dream. Sorry.
Let me just give my shout out. It's just a quick shout out. So KOP gave us 1,000 flyers, asked for absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
That's
KOP.
amazing.
Didn't even
That's
ask for a mention or
amazing.
anything, so I do want to shout him out. He's been a longtime supporter of my projects and of the cause in general, pushing back tyranny on the federal levels.
Yeah, and for everyone out there, this isn't just like a one-time thing. This isn't just going to be, all right, we're going to rally and that's going to be it. This is something that's going to be an ongoing movement until we get the TSA off of our transit system.
Yeah.
And what this means is, we need to have allies and realize that. I always said this in terms of unreasonable searches for marijuana and stuff like that. Is you need to be standing up for your rights even when you don't have something on you. You know what I'm saying? Even when you're not going to get when you don't have that personal vested interest. You all have a personal interest in the 4th Amendment and upholding that. I feel like every citizen does. So you have to realize you have to stand up for your rights every time that goes down, whether or not you're guilty of a crime or not.
I've been thinking about this a lot, because it is hard to explain to the person who, even someone who is not even even a casual pot smoker, why they would ever have to worry about this. I'm just going to give this example because it's actually happening to a friend of mine right now. I have a friend whose father is in federal prison, and it's a very unfortunate circumstance, but everybody who was around him, okay, so his kids, boyfriends, girlfriends, wives, husbands, nieces, nephews, okay. Now the feds want everything. They're these people are spending thousands and thousands of dollars defending themselves against these bullshit subpoenas for their finances, for everything, okay? And on top of that, they're all, we all know what they're gathering on them. So I'm just imagine, you imagine what you've tried, what you never imagined, which is that there is a reason that you don't want people in your business. Think about it.
Yeah.
Sit and think about it. I don't
think
care
about how
pure
powerful
you
the
think
feds
you
are. Like you don't like the IRS, your little dealings with them. You wouldn't imagine. And that look at this kid that just committed suicide.
Right, exactly what I was going to say, yeah. Absolutely.
This is what they do to you.
Surveillance.
This is why you are under. People can't handle it. The strongest people can't handle these federal charges.
Right.
Well, and all this is basically conditioning, you know?
Culture of fear.
You're being, phased into it. And first it was, all right, well, we have to show our ID to get on the plane. Which,
Right.
okay, all right, that's reasonable, sure. I can agree to that. I have to show an ID. And then it's, all right, we have to put you through these scanners. Oh, wait, whoa, that's a big jump.
Right.
But people still went along with it, right? Because it's for your safety.
And it's a clear line.
and
It's a clear line that is crossed.
And we had the metal detectors, the magnetometers. Like, what was wrong with those? Like, to detect metal.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you can. I've seen a couple of YouTube videos
biological
where
agents, though,
they just totally, people go through those scanners with thermite, with a blasting cap, and then they make a bomb.
And I still have to smell everybody's feet.
Yeah, exactly. And so, you blew the fuck up anyway. And you got a bunch of radiation that you didn't actually need.
And you lost you lost your Fourth Amendment rights.
Well, exactly.
Oops.
Not to mention, so how many ways you have violated? In my experiences that I've had with the TSA, I just recently flew when I went down to the RNC or whatever. I had my bullhorn with me, and they looked at me like from a mile away, like with 10 heads. And I didn't put any batteries in or anything like that.
And then you told them you were a delegate?
Yeah. The best thing was when I was leaving, I had my brother from another mother, which is like a picture of Romney and Obama high fiving, in the hotel, I was in the Massachusetts delegation. At any rate, so the TSA, they're like, all right, go through there. I'm like, no, I'm not going to go through that, and they were so annoyed that one of them was going to have to grope me. And I was like, no, I'm going to need one of you to grope me. You're going to have to grope me. I stuck my hand up.
I like the one with the blonde hair. Can I
right?
You know what you got to do to them? Like when you go through the search and you opt out, and they make the big scene, we have an opt-out, and they try to shame you into going through and complying, all right, just stop making a scene.
I'll make a bigger scene. You want to show me how to make a scene?
They're like, all right, the machine's off now, and you can walk through, and I'm looking at the guy, I'm like, no, I'm not walking through the machine, period. You can escort me around it. You can show me the plug. I'm not going through it.
Yeah.
So they walk me around the machine, and they're doing the pat down. The guy's like, all right, we're going to get to your sensitive areas. And as he's going to touch my junk, I just go full on into his hand, and I just put this big smile on my face, and I'm looking him right in the eye. I figure I'm already uncomfortable. I might as well share that. And if I feel like I've reversed it, and I've made him more uncomfortable
now,
than I was.
Do they have females there to do the female pat down?
Yeah. It's woman on woman.
Maybe you get a tranny to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of
a BBW.
The way you guys are, when I'm around you, do you ever get scared? Because it's
5 points.
The more that you do these things, when you bring it on, Frank, when you bring it on, Garrett, and we're out side the Federal Reserve building, you're pointing at the cameras, you're talking to the cameras. We know they're recording us. The cops are everywhere we go. No. Let me ask you this question. Do you get scared ever? Seriously, get scared, worrying that you might end up like a Barrett Brown? I'm at the point where actually I start to wonder. Do you guys get scared?
You can't. You just have to accept that fear is the enemy. If you're gonna be scared of things, then you're not gonna.
Right.
You're just gonna go and sit in the corner, and this shit's gonna keep going on.
Fear is what
whatever
they want.
happens. I haven't done anything crazy except for running my mouth really and trying to organize people. I haven't
I need to high five you for that because that's how I feel. That's kind of.
I gotta say, as much as the First Amendment's under attack, I think even Barrett Brown would agree that he, as much the heat and as much of the nightmare they've been trying to make his life for years, the reason that he's behind bars right now is because he literally it was because of that. And I actually just met with his attorney recently about this, and this is not. I'm not taking this is not political. Obviously, I don't think Barrett Brown should be in prison.
Right.
But I feel personally, and this question wasn't asked me, but I'll say I feel like. I'll push it, and there'll be scrutiny, and much of which I don't deserve, and a lot of nonsense. But there are these instances where what did he say?
He kind of crossed the line. It was up to the line. But I think that in respect, though, I didn't buy it like that. If you're listening to it, there's a certain aspect of it that it's I'm anonymous. I will out you. This is what they do. They get information on people and they out them. And it was almost like I would say I'm going after Keenan, we've talked about.
I don't think he actually crossed the line that he did it wrong, but I think that everybody knows that that's what the line is.
Well,
you know
I
what
know.
I mean?
Yeah, I know. I understand
So
what you're
I
saying.
get it. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But that this is fuck, man.
And I think that also they,
It's a damn shame too.
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
a
it was
shame.
he was also targeted because.
But I think you're right.
Because of his I mean, clearly his involvement with Anonymous. I mean, they're putting a lot more scrutiny on those types of organizations than I mean.
But and even before that though, they were really harassing him. Like there's so much. They
It's
put
true.
so much
They were
pressure
definitely,
on
like,
you,
looking at it.
and then they wonder why a kid that's that young, that's doing the things that he's doing in a
And
good
genuinely
person
believes that they're right. Yeah, I mean, that's the
is
thing.
gonna, you know what I mean? Go up
I
to
have
the
a
line.
document right now. Well, I'm working on the whole Nadia Naif case, that whole situation, and much of it leads to it's this big twisted, convoluted thing. But part of it is it's one of these like white hat this detective, online detective agency that was working for Breitbart's people. I have this memo where they're literally telling them that they're gonna they have a communication with the Boston Police Department, okay, with detectives and BPD, and so they basically. BPD takes tips from right-wing maniacs on, and it actually today goes to show that the gun rally out there, once again, I hope I shouldn't have to say this, I'm actually excited to see people out there, whatever people are standing up for, whether I agree with it or not. On guns, I'm somewhere in the middle. But the cops certainly weren't treating them like they do when there are First Amendment people out there, when there are people out there fighting against, wealth disparity. The cops are literally slapping five hands, with the people out there, and I don't think that cops should be surveilling them or anybody else.
Yeah.
On bullshit, on the basis of bullshit. But it just, these are kind of it's a pick and choose with them. And I'm sure we'll get to that.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, though, even though they're slapping five with them, they're still they're still taking video.
Are they taking video? I didn't see anybody taking video out
they
there.
most likely are still taking video.
There's so many people I couldn't tell, so I don't want to jump to conclusions. But my guess is they're not. I don't know.
When you look at what the Southern Poverty Law Center, came out with, what was it back in 08, and they saying that all these domestic terror organizations and things like that, and groups like Oath Keepers who are out there today, and other people who are in those kind of groups like Goal and those kind of things, those are looked at a lot of ways as homegrown and extremist groups. So I mean, I'm sure even though they were
they often affiliate with homegrown extremist groups too. I couldn't believe the sponsorships, and sure, it was blasting across the left wing media, but I was looked into it I wasn't retweeting, nothing like that. But for personal interest, looked into. Wow, did Gun Appreciation Day really take these sponsorships from these organizations? And you bet your ass they did.
Yeah.
Which is kind of mind blowing to me. But so it would be interesting to see. Trust me, I'll be the first filing a FOIA request to see what kind of video they came up with today, or at least if there's something exists.
The funny thing is there was two guys in this van after we had the last Fed protest, and they had all different bumper stickers on the side of it, all hippie bumper stickers and this and that, the other thing. And the two guys that were sitting in the car were clearly cops.
I love when they try to do that.
Yeah.
It's like the pizza delivery guys at UMass.
I don't know if I even told you about after the one in September, the Fed rally.
Yep.
There was maybe half a dozen of us lingering, and there was this weird bum kind of guy. Nothing against people who are in transient situations or unfortunate, but whatever. This guy looks like a bum, like third generation clothing, totally mismatched. Nice shiny jack boots, and he's coming over and he's asking the randomest questions, where are you guys coming from? And you're just oh, well, tell me more about this. Yeah, tell me a little more about this. And I'm looking at him, I just shake my head a little bit and just point at the boot. I'm dude, just don't even. But they've got these all kinds of different weird ways to try to probe and prod and make you feel scared.
Yeah.
But we're keeping each other,
But
they're just keeping us safe. They're keeping us safe.
You have to do it, regardless of whether or not you're frightened or whether or not, you think something bad is going to happen. If you're not going to do it, no one else is going to do it, and you have to, speak truth to power, as the saying goes. You have
Definitely. And not stand idly by and refuse to get searched, but also tell your friends and explain to them and so that they refuse it. And that's how you start a movement. That's how you push back.
Yeah.
Can I play this
Yes.
clip about, because we're talking about this whole theme
let's give out the phone number too. 617-606-4122. It's again Saturday, February 2nd, which is how much? This is
2 weeks.
2 weeks from today.
Yep.
It's noon to 3 p.m. in Boston, Cambridge, starting at different points. You can see the map. There's 5 starting locations: Harvard Square, South Station, Leechmere, Kenmore, Ruggles, and all the stops along. I'll probably pick it up at Kendall. That's where I think I'm going to be, in Kendall, and I'll just march over. It's basically a march, hitting every T stop, not actually going on the T, walking, marching along with a group of people from all these locations where we meet at Park Street Station, and then have a big rally on the Common.
Yeah, right over by the. We're actually going to meet at the bandstand, but
Bandstand.
yeah, right there on Park Street.
Yep.
And you really come out to this. Really, really, really come out to this. Especially, if you can't march, come to the rally, because it's really important to show these kind of numbers. And I do think, I was having this discussion during the break about, a lot of the activism around the MBTA and the fare, the service cuts and the fare hikes and stuff like that. And it really did make the difference that we had big numbers out there, against this. And I think this is gonna be tougher, because a lot of people have been conditioned to think that this is acceptable, and we really have to push past that and explain to people why it's not okay.
And that's why we really should make sure everybody hits up the Facebook page.
Yes, definitely.
I want everyone, like in the marijuana reform community, you have to get behind this. This is for you. Like, this is a major, different groups of people coming together. There's over 100 people on the RSVP already that are going. Let's get like a couple thousand people in Boston. 2 weeks from today. Seriously. Like, we can do this for the Freedom Rally. I want anyone that's involved in medical marijuana legalization. We need to get this federal government out for the weed searches and the tea.
Exactly.
Because that's what this is all about.
And it's all, it's all connected. And
yes.
And that's why I want to play this clip.
And if I could say something real quick, and it's theater.
Yeah.
It's theater is what it is. It's not reality. How many terrorists have these people caught? How many?
I meant to say
how many weed
all
people?
The stuff all the stuff these guys were saying. A lot of the times when I'm, especially at unregular radio, I sit around and I agree with people, but I hear things people like going overboard. For me, but like everything they're saying is actually backed up. The burden is on them. They have nothing proven. I've looked into this. I've reported on this.
Your whole article is about this.
No, I mean even like specifically about the T searches. They've literally solved nothing. I mean, this is accomplished nothing. It cost a shitload. Mm-hmm. This is a fact. Yep. A fact. They want to keep doing this
because it's easy money.
Try to show something. They can't. There's nothing. Trust me. If they had gotten a morsel of anything, it'd be all over every nightly news. For
weeks.
This is the real deal. Yep.
So Heather, this is about something that you really started. Like this is your first thing that you did in college, right? With activism and marijuana reform?
Yeah. And this was something, localized to UMass, and but not really. It was the same type of thing of, cops going into your space that you're required to be in or you need to be in. That a place that you would consider, public or at least your private space that you're allowed to be in, and invading it to see if you're smoking weed, basically. So
or drinking
or whatever,
anything.
or doing anything they think that they can get you for. So here's the clip.
Because you are being watched here. You are being watched. We all are. And you know what? For some of you, it might be the first time that the cameras aren't rolling because they assume that you're doing something wrong.
Oh no!
Oh, it went down.
No! It went down.
It. Ad-lib it.
That's Heather Mack in college.
This is like terrible.
Rallying the students to get the undercover weed police out of the dorms.
I still remember writing that because they told me I was going to speak 20 minutes before, just like it happened at the Freedom Rally one year. So hold on. Let's go back here.
It's coming.
It is coming.
I was into that. That's like young Heather. How old are you then? 18, 19?
Yeah, 18, I think.
She's fire.
I don't know.
You could already tell from the first few seconds of it.
Well, this is my first big speech in front of people too, so it was kind of a big deal.
Do we get to hear it again?
This is all right. I'm reloading. I gotta get back to it.
We're stealing it right from YouTube.
Yeah, I know. Thanks, YouTube.
Fuck YouTube.
Oh yeah, we gotta get.
No, we're not gonna talk about YouTube this week.
If you're a Google user and you haven't noticed yet, a whole bunch of liberties have been taken with your YouTube account.
We've had issues.
I never
with
had
YouTube.
a YouTube account. Apparently, I do now.
Yep.
And I kind of don't. It's fine, And listen, I'm not going to hate on Google because I use Google products, but get your YouTube game fixed
We're
up.
all about YouTube, but we hate YouTube. We got issues.
YouTube is bringing back my 18-year-old first speech
YouTube
in front of people ever, so it's a big deal. Let's continue.
Exactly.
And you know what? For some of you, it might be the first time that the cameras aren't rolling because they assume that you're doing something wrong, but because you all are standing up for what's right. Because so many of us are not content with being told that our issues don't matter, that they don't even exist. And this is real. This is real, guys. This is awesome. So So let's turn the cameras right around and take a good look at what the administration keeps saying isn't there. Let's look at the police for a change. Are you feeling safe yet? That's what I keep hearing, that police are in the dorms to keep us safe. If you're not breaking a law, it shouldn't be a problem, right? Is that right? Well, I'm sorry, but the police aren't there to keep you safe when you can't tell who they are, because they got a delivery shirt on and a baseball cap.
Oh,
I think it just broke YouTube, actually.
I don't care. That was fucking... Holy shit.
It's over. It's over.
Where can we find that? Would you post that on our
I will. It's a nice little clip. It's
That's
like one of a few.
I've never heard that
Because that was when we all went on strike. This was a huge coalition of students at UMass, and it wasn't just about the cops in the dorms, but I fought to get that on the agenda and make that part of the conversation. Because originally,
it certainly was. You could see the people, the certain contingent were into that.
The clip may have been cut off, but you accomplished more in the 30 seconds than I did in 5 years of college.
Seriously. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Chris. Thank you. Yeah, I'll post it up on our. I'm posting it as we speak, because that was a big moment in life. But also, it proves that we're still fighting the same fight. We're still doing the same.
You don't
shit.
want to be searched.
It's real simple. So please, call in 617-606-4122. If you've been searched, if you have a thought on this, and
you want to be searched.
Yeah. If you want to be searched by me or my can, we're here.
Yeah.
We have busy hands.
One final note, on this all, Fourth Amendment, rah, rah, rah. It's, the foundational concept of our whole government and legal system is the burden of proof. The state has to prove you are guilty of something.
Thank you.
That's really, when it gets to the Fourth Amendment, like the principles of what we're saying is that we don't have to prove our innocence. We don't have to prove we're not carrying a bomb or a bag of weed or I don't know, a dildo to be embarrassed about.
Or 100 dildos.
Yeah. Whatever, you can carry whatever you want, That's what it's about. It's about the burden of proof. It belongs on the state. The state has to prove that you've done something wrong before they can interfere in your life. And if you really break that bond, that rule, your whole idea of democracy is gone.
That's the intelligent way of saying what I was trying to say before. Yeah, for real.
That's why we're all here together. We help each other out. We pronounce names.
It's just so crazy. It's almost as if the conversation in the past 10 years has been just ahead of that. You know what I mean? Like, in a bad way. Behind it, I guess. But like, people don't even. Yeah, that's it, man. That's
617-606-4122. We're gonna take a break. What are we gonna hear for music? We got a lot to choose from.
I don't know. We had
We have
some
any
requests.
terminology since that came out?
Oh
You
yeah.
got any term? I love term.
Should
I'm
listen
like
to
a groupie. Listen to me. I love term.